Today we're going to be talking about the one purpose delusion. And a lot of us grow up believing that we're supposed to discover this one great purpose in our lives, and it's just going to fulfill everything. One career, one relationship, one mission, and one accomplishment that will finally make everything in our lives feel as though it's meaningful and perfect. And we are told to find our purpose as though it's like this hidden treasure that we need to go out and find. But I believe this idea can become a very, very dangerous delusion because when you build your entire identity around that one purpose, you also give that one thing, that one power, that one purpose a power to destroy you and crumble you to the ground. And what happens when the career you work towards no longer fulfills you? You know, what happens when that relationship you built all of your future around ends? What happens when that business fails and the opportunity disappears? The dream changes, or you realize that that goal you spent your years chasing after just poof, it's not what it was, and it doesn't feel like you're meant for it anymore. When that one purpose becomes the foundation of your entire life, losing it can feel like losing yourself. It becomes an anchor, and not an anchor that keeps you grounded, but that thing that takes you and drags you beneath the surface. And I used to believe the fulfillment would come from one thing and maybe a couple major things in my life, my entire life. And I thought that once I found that right career or accomplishment or direction, everything would finally make sense. And I believed that purpose was a destination I would eventually reach, which don't think that way. From friend to friend, do not think that way. I've come to realize that life is not filled with one purpose. It's filled with so many more than just one. And your purpose may be found in the work you do, but it can also be found in the people you help. And my other videos, I go over that in finding purpose and helping others. And I really recommend that you guys go and watch that. So it may be found in building a family, developing your faith, or creating something meaningful in your life. You know, teaching someone something or caring for another person, improving your health, learning skills, or simply just being present with those people that need you. And some purposes may last for decades. Others may last for even a day, which I'm going to get to later in this video. That does not make them less meaningful. That makes your purpose more in the moment and more important in that moment. So your purpose today might be helping a friend through a difficult moment. Tomorrow it might be studying for an exam or taking care of your body, repairing a relationship that you might have issues with, or finishing up something that you just started and you need to get done. It's even showing kindness to someone who feels invisible in the moment. So purpose does not always have to be an enormous thing. It can just be being there for others, or like those things that I talked about. It does not need to be a massive business or a career or a mega movement or a legacy. I'm trying to pick big words here for that. You get where I'm going with this. Sometimes purpose is simply just recognizing that this day is asking from you to do a couple things, and so you got to choose from that and answer that. So that mindset has changed my life for the better in so many ways. I feel so driven every single morning to be able to wake up and go do those things and find purpose in my day-to-day life. And instead of waiting for one massive purpose to give an entire existing feeling in myself, I try to create purpose within each day. So some questions that I ask myself, it's like, who can I help today? What responsibility can I fulfill? What can I learn today? What can I improve? What meaningful action can I take before this day is over? The daily purpose mindset has allowed me to find a fulfillment in places I previously would have overlooked and not really put any thought or effort into. And it has taught me to take life and make it so much more meaningful than what I originally was doing. It created not just one perfect decision, but multiple decisions in finding purpose every single day. And it's those thousands of small intentional decisions, not just autonomic decisions. So you do not have to know exactly what your life will look like in 10 years from now to live with purpose today is what you need to do. You do not need to have your entire future figured out. You only need to identify the purpose that exists in front of you right now. And when one purpose fails, let yourself grieve it, understand what happened, and learn from that situation. I understand there's ups and downs in life, and just don't make that your purpose and don't let that destroy your life if you lose it. Respect what it meant to you and move on. Do not allow that situation that can happen in your life to convince you that your life has lost any meaning. One failed dream does not mean you are a failure. One closed door does not mean that there are no other paths to take. One lost purpose does not mean that you are purposeless. You are allowed to evolve, and all of life is evolving over time. You're allowed to discover new interests, new abilities, new relationships, and new reasons to move forward. The purpose that guides you at 20 may not be the same purpose that guides you 20 years down the line when you're 40 years old. It's not inconsistency, but that purpose is just growth over time. And stop placing the weight of your entire existence onto that one goal and figure out the meaning throughout each day. And some things that really pushes me in my day-to-day life is serve others, create, like this YouTube channel, learn, love people, take care of yourself, accept responsibility, and build things through that responsibility. Pursue goals, and wake up each morning and create a purpose within the day that you have been given. Because perhaps the purpose of life is not to find one permanent answer and one permanent purpose. Perhaps it is to continue finding meaningful reasons to live, to contribute, to grow, and serve one day at a time. I'll see you guys at the next one.